Hey everybody, welcome to your weekly state legislative update for Thursday, February 25th. Great to see a lot of visits on the calendar. I think there's at least 10 lobby visits scheduled, and I know that a handful have already occurred. So I've been down in the Capitol a couple times already, maybe I think 3 times already in February, and have been talking to your reps who've met with you and senators, and so our impact is being felt, and looks like there's a lot more coming up. So good work. So this week, most of our work's been uh, going towards firming up our solar renewables package, our renew package of bills. A couple of those bills have already moved. The solar bill of rights that Representative Feigenholz has, House Bill 5429, that passed out of its House committee this week, so it's out on the House floor and appears to not have any opposition. So I think that one seems to be looking pretty good. Um, on the Senate side, a bill that we've talked about, the PACE bill, to help with financing the upfront costs of clean energy investments through property tax bonds. That's Senate Bill 2505 in the Senate. Senator Frerichs has it, and it has also cleared the Senate Revenue Committee, so it's on the Senate floor. Now, a couple weeks ago, we talked about the PACE bill. It is not a bill that originated with us. It's Senator Frerichs and the Attorney General, so we weren't originally talking about it as part of our core package, but we basically are now, because they really are linked, and it would pair very nicely, with our solar bills. If we had this great financing mechanism, it just makes things like the net metering and the solar ramp up work even better. So we're updating our materials to include Senate Bill 2505 in our package. I know it's another bill to an already pretty big package, but these really are generally moving as a group, very interrelated, so we feel like the least confusing thing to do is to treat them all as our renew package. The other two big topics on there, probably the two biggest, most complicated ones that we have been talking about, the net metering proposal and the solar ramp up, both. Those two bills, net metering is the Senate Bill 3426, and the solar ramp up is Senate Bill 3686. Those are both up for a big hearing in the Senate Energy Committee next Thursday. We already have a pretty good co-sponsor list on each of them, so I think that we're already building good support. We know that we've been doing a lot of outreach to business, to labor, and I'm really hopeful by the time we get to that committee hearing we're going to have a pretty good list of supporters. But that's not going to include, we expect, the utilities. At least at the beginning, the utilities are expressing some concerns about aspects of both bills, so they're definitely not going to be easy, which we knew, and we're really going to need to be highlighting those two bills in particular in the package. So that's the big deal for next week, is getting those two bills out of committee. In the House, those two concepts, House Bill 6013 is the ramp up that Representative Graham has, and House Bill 6202 is the net metering bill that Representative Burns has. The House has an extra week to do to get their bills out of committee, whereas the deadline in the Senate is next week. So that's why we're focusing on the Senate committee. The House has until the second week of March to get its bills out of committee, which is when we expect our two solar bills to be heard there. So if you're watching closely on LIS, you will see sometime in the next week an amendment to House Bill 6013. That's not, all that does is, there was some drafting errors made in the current version, so all the amendment that you'll see coming will do is to make House Bill 6013 exactly the same as the same bill in the Senate, the Harmon Senate Bill 3686. On the BPA ban, we've got the bills are in both committees at the moment. For next week, the Senate Bill Senate Bill 3750 is the Senate version of the BPA ban. That's in a committee, not currently scheduled for a hearing for next week, but that's likely to change since next week is the Senate committee deadline. And the bill is posted. I don't have the House BPA bill number in front of me here, but the Necritz BPA Free Kids Act is posted for a committee hearing next week, and so hope to have good news about that. Finally, on the fertilizer bills, the House Bill 6099 is not yet posted, but again, in the House we have 2 weeks yet to get that out of committee, so that may go until the second week of March before the committee hears testimony on that and hopefully passes it. That's in the House Agriculture Committee. And that's about it. So I've got, for today's update, I've got a little snippet of a conversation I had with Senator Frerichs about this PACE clean energy financing legislation that we're adding to our Renew package, and I thought you might like to hear him talk just a little bit about why he introduced the bill and what he thinks its prospects for, what the prospects are this spring for it. So keep up the good work. Really do hope to see a lot of you at Lobby Day. The sign up for that is March 5th, so if you're planning on coming, please do sign up. We've already got a lot of people signed up. It looks like it's going to be potentially a full house, and we do have a limited number of hotel rooms, and obviously need to plan for meals and stuff like that. So we'd really appreciate if you could sign up as soon as you know you're coming, and no later than March 5th. I hope to see as many of you as possible there, and keep up the good work.
This is a great idea, and obviously upfront costs have been like one of the main stumbling blocks for people wanting to do clean energy projects. So what is this idea, and how did it come to you in your district and community?
Well, I think that you've hit on one of the real problems out there is getting financing, and I think this is a place where government can step in and help facilitate that, make it efficient, make it easy, and less cost prohibitive. This idea came from PACE programs in the state of California. It's something I've had a lot of my constituents, especially around the university, have wanted to make improvements to their house, whether it be with solar panels, geothermal systems, or just weatherization of their house. And they found themselves over the last couple of years during a credit crisis being unable to get financing for these programs. They could afford to make payments, but they couldn't get financing. And I think it would just be a lot easier for municipalities or county governments to facilitate this for a lot of their members. It just seems to make a lot of sense. I can't think of a better thing to do right now. It doesn't cost the state money. It reduces our carbon footprint and puts people to work. There's definitely room in this session this year for something like that.